Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Adam and Clinton here as we try to be every week. And on that note, we won't be here next week. So we'll start off the show like that. Adam,
Wow, what a buzzkill.
I know, just like, screw y'all. We're not going to be here next week. We had a busy week, man. A lot of stuff went down. We're going to rage a bit here today. We're going to talk about what you did on the weekend. Some cool stuff. We'll talk about what's coming up this weekend. Jordan Poirier is supposed to join us a bit later. We tried to get a couple of APC guys, but we kind of struck out there. So you never know. You never know who's going to show up on the show. But either way, we've got each other. How are you doing today, buddy?
Wow. I'm good. I just threw up in my mouth a little listening to that, but I'm all right.
Kind of like me when the Rinaldis were there Friday and you said some people are just not dependable. And I had to actually spit my water out, and it wasn't even a first show. It actually made me spit take.
I'm glad I could give that to you.
Good job, Sleeping Beauty. I had at least two people come up to me and ask me if you made it through Friday night without a nap. So kudos to everybody who jumped on that, and they're still jumping down your throat over that. Fran wants home from Raceman. You know what? It's funny you say it. And so today we're just going to have a bullshit session, right? We don't have a lot of structure. We got some cool things to talk about, but we're just going to have some fun here like we do. Now, Fran says some from Raceman. I'd love to get Brandon Gattin on. Brandon is kind of taking the helm for that. He does the Merritt Village weekend. Cool as a cucumber. Man, we were all fighting on Friday, Adam. We'll get into that a little bit. I Saturday morning, I thought I need to quit this business. I was real upset.
You were a little edgy Friday night. I could sense that. But I am afraid when it comes to race med, we might be in trouble. Because I think there is an Abby of race. You know how Abby is the star of G-Force? Has been for a little while. It's just the intrigue. There is one person on the race med team who always seems to be the first on scene or the first to climb into a car to be holding up the body. I don't even know her name, Clinton, but I think she's she's hard to miss when she's on the screen because she sticks out like a sore thumb.
All those guys are amazing, and we got into a bit of battle, but I talked to Brandon. I said, hey, man, we need to get a body cam on you. And wouldn't that be cool, Adam, if we had a body cam on the Racemen guys to show them to show off what they do, and we could edit as footage for all our different shows and productions. But then I got thinking, hey, man, we could pass that around. Like even the girls at the front gate, I think it'd be great to see what they go through in a night and see all these different positions we could show off from the Speedway. So, of course, I run into Glenn today, and I pitched it, and he says, do it. Get the body cams. Let's do it. I'm like, yes, I love when Dad's in a good mood. You know, we can sell lots of good stuff by him. But I thought I was going to be in trouble because, as you know, I got into an altercation with one of his kind of sponsored teams on Friday. It's just, I don't even know if
it wasn't an altercation.
Get into that, but
you were an official officiating. And they were participants not listening to the official.
They left with a bad taste in their mouth, and I tried to fix it up. But
it was clay.
People just, it was like it's kind of like the advice Connor got this week. You know, sometimes you don't need to talk about it on race night because they're so mad. It's not going to go well. So you sometimes just gotta let it go a day or so. But man, we were all fighting. I don't know. Dave come over after the race. He was mad. I was mad at everybody. Zager was. I mean, everybody's pissed off. It was just you would think it was a full moon or something.
Not me.
I don't know.
That was a good show.
And that's a good spot to be in, though. That's a good spot to be in, though, sometimes when you're just looking over the fence and watching the chaos. And
it's a choice. It's 100% a choice. But so is yours. So mine's a choice to do the role that I do. And you know what? Sometimes I get in a little hot water. Sometimes I don't. But I never intend to. So as long as I keep that mindset, I'm here to have fun. Try to do a good job. If things go sideways, don't take it personal. Eat your shit and go home. It's not that much different for you. Although it's a much bigger pile of shit that you sometimes have to eat. But it still has to be a choice, Clinton. When you show up to the track, I'm either going to let it eat me or I'm going to eat it. At the end of the night, it gets, as the night goes on, it's harder and harder to do. And when the night ends and everyone comes and they all pile on, it keeps getting harder and harder. But ultimately, at the very end, hopefully you jump into your truck and decide, yep, that was another night at the races, had its challenges, but I'm going to go home and be happy nobody died.
I mean, let's look at the positives from Friday. The racing was amazing. Like, just wild. And we knew going in it was going to be a late night. We had the late models there, which can turn into a late model marathon very easily. We've seen many years of that. They were awesome. Like I told Mark on Saturday, your guys were wicked. Come in, super polite, parked in the right pit spots that we laid out for them. Like, I had no late model grief at all Friday, and that's amazing. Not that they're ever trouble, but it's just, hey, whenever that's so many different things I could rant on. But Adam, like, we have visitors that pull up and just start claiming concrete spots. I couldn't see myself pulling into Brighton and be like, oh, you guys obviously paved this for me. I've never been here before, but of these, this is obviously for me, right? Like, no, you go park in the gravel till someone says, hey, you want to park up here? But they were great Friday. We had great communication with teams. We laid out all the visitor spots that we had. It was awesome. So that was great. And then even the vintage cars, like, they put on a great show, man. Those things used to be parades, right? They showed off their pretty cars. Now they're gorgeous in the race. How often is it you and I are standing at the pit gate drooling over race cars these days?
Yeah.
Big time. You're standing at the pit gate, and I said, oh, did you look at that car? And you said, did you see that guy? It was super cool. They put on some great racing. Congratulations to Pitsy on getting that done. He's got a lot of history of the place, so it was good. D. Shaw says it too. We had a lot of people from town. Late Models bringing that crowd from the east and the west, so we appreciate that. Thunderstocks were up. The Brock Leonard was a wicked race. Bailey gets his first Brock Leonard. Who would have thought Bailey never won that race before?
Right. And to pass Ryan Beagle at the end of a long race, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Entertaining to watch.
Awesome racing. Everybody's good. Even the crate race came down there. Jacob Dykstra looked like he had them covered. Lance Erskine races them down with white. Then we get a red, changes the whole thing. Lance gets another. I just thought the whole night was great. We knew it was going to be long and late, though. But, man, lots of crazy crashes. Spencer, do you got Peter almost getting clipped over the wall? I know we probably should talk about that. I just didn't know if you'd have that one. If you round it up, throw it up. But anyways, car jumps the wall. Peter almost dies. Here it is. Oh.
And
now, go ahead.
The thing with Peter, he has some mobility issues to begin with. So he couldn't even have jumped on the hood if that was the safest way. He doesn't have that kind of upward mobility. That was fortunate. And what a freak incident.
Yeah, I think 90% of us would have just taken a couple steps back, but it looked a lot more dramatic because you said Peter's an older guy. His mobility is not that great. He lumbers around there, still loves the sport, loves taking his pictures. But yeah, so it was a little more dramatic than actually looked. And actually fell on his ass, so that's never good. But Peter was all right. He was up and going, and I almost guaranteed he'll be back on Friday ready to do it again.
Spencer.
It's just what these guys do. And I'm sure it's not the last time or the first time he's ever had to dodge a race car.
Show that replay again. I want to see how long both Derek and Peter kept their cameras up for. Okay, Derek got it.
Yeah, that's going to be some good shots. And I'm sure they're going to be passing them around the camera guy lunchroom this week. Like, look at what I got you.
Right. So the fact that Peter wasn't seriously injured, we can watch and look at that sort of thing. And it's a memorable moment.
Man, I fight Jack way too much about, where he stands at these races. So that was kind of played over a few times for him to look at. Like, bud, pay attention here. Peter, he'll be good. They got us scared too a couple weeks ago. Nick Sheridan came into victory lane the wrong way. They came in the Polish victory lap side, and none of the photographers were expecting them to come in that side. And let me tell you, I heard it a lot that week from the photographers about letting guys come in that way. I didn't really get into it with Nick because I know it's a celebration. It's a one-time in 20-year thing. But if it becomes an epidemic, we'll have to talk about it because everybody's looking that way down the track, and then all of a sudden you got one come from the backside, and you're not really expecting it. So, yeah, Friday was great. I mean, I was just angry. So what do? You get everybody on the phone Saturday. We all group. We have a moment to cool off. I talked to Dave Hunsinger more Saturday, Sunday than I have in 2 years, trying to fix these issues and make sure. And you know, I should probably read you a message I sent to Brandon from RaceMed Saturday because we're talking inside baseball, and this is what I would do with you, right? Normally, if we were just on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it started with me yelling at them because they went to fix a car on a late model. One of the new RaceMed guys was helping a guy pull a fender off, and I was like losing my shit on the radio. I'm like, "Don't touch the car!" You know, even Dave Hunter goes, "What's everybody yelling at?" I'm like, "Don't touch the car." So Brandon sent me the message. He said, "Hey, it was a new guy. Won't happen again." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to have a meeting with everybody. We were just a bit wound up last night. We need to re-clarify a few roles. I truly hope you guys know that I appreciate everything you guys do. We're the best in the business because we're intense and we always strive to be better. So I won't apologize for being up on the chip. I just need everybody to understand that it's not personal. It's just heat of the moment, and sometimes we got to get loud." And Brandon said, "It's our hockey game. We're going to drop the glove sometimes, but have a beer after. It's how it should be, man. We're all the same." And I said, "Your guys are great. You know, we just need to work on a couple of things to make sure we're in the right path." But it's great that we can have those relationships, talk to the guys. Everybody gets, and like I said to Dave Hunter, we fought. Someone's feelings are upset. I said, "Look, it's an intense business. I won't apologize for being, for demanding the best from our guys." And that's why I think, getting back to let's call it. So we have a crew run out on the track for the second week in a row, Adam. And, we can bring it up now. We didn't make a big public thing about it, but why did Glenn Stiers race at Brewerton last week on Friday? Their whole crew was banned from the speedway. His on the week before. And I said, you cannot do that. So 14's got to take the week off. You guys do what you got to do. They went to Brewerton. Josh Fern this week crashes at the end of the thing. His crew comes out. We have a bit of an altercation because they run on the track. And, it was even worse this week because at least when Glenn and Chantel came out, and I'm not excusing it at all. No, I threw the book at them as best I could and keep my job. Even Greg was great that night because I said, "I'm going to have to do something with that." And he shook my hand and said, "Great working with you, buddy. Like, you're going to get fired over this one." But, at least Broden was out of the car. The car was upright. He was already walking to the safety by the time they got there. On Friday, that car was upside down, leaking oil and gas. Our safety crew gets in, and two guys running in shorts and T-shirts. And, man, I gotta calm down a bit, but I lost my shit, right? I did. And then, and then the crew steps up, elbows back they want, step like they want to fight. And where I come from, that this is not going to fly. So then I really lost my anger. Told him, get off the track. We got them off the track, but I'm like, what I want to say to what are you doing? Where do you race that it's allowed? And that's what I heard both times. So Glenn's new crew chief, it's allowed down where he came from in North Carolina. Apparently it's allowed where these guys race. What happens there, Adam? And my beef to Glenn and Chantel was, if we have a 4-car accident there and we got cars leaking fuel and a fire, and now we got family and friends, and it's just a messy situation. You know what I want to do, Adam? And this sounds cocky, but this is my pissed off guy action. So everybody likes when I rant, lady. What I want to do next time a mom or dad runs out on the track, I want to pull all the safety crew to the infield and say, "We're going for ice cream. You guys let us know when you've towed the car off, when you've put out the fire, when you tended to the injuries, when you flipped it over, when you towed your piece of shit back to your," I don't mean your piece of shit, I mean that's what it is now because it's a crumpled mess. When you tow it back to your pit stall, then we have the best in the business. Let them do their stuff. I just, man, I don't get off. And it was brought to me in many examples. If your kid gets hurt on hockey, I've never seen a mom run on the ice in hockey and pick up little junior. The coaches get in there, they help him up. If we need mom, we need mom. I'm a parent. My brother races sprint cars for years. I've been seen him get in horrific crashes. I get what you're going through. I understand the emotions are high. But if your kid's in this position, you've got to understand what you're putting them into. And that's what got me in the crew mad too.
Did your parents ever give you the "because I said so" line?
Sure they did.
In this case,
who didn't?
Exactly. No, I just wanted to be sure it wasn't just me. In this case, you would be perfectly within your rights. Because I said so, get the hell out of here. But we actually take
That's
the time.
That's what it came down to.
In the moment, it does. But we actually take the time to explain, here is why this is a rule. It's not that we don't want you to see your son or your daughter. It's because these professionals need to work. And you are getting between them and working, and you are giving us countless more opportunities to have further injury. Right? So it's not because I told you so. It's because here's all the reasons. Now, I already told you so you should already be gone.
And, hey, I understand if you don't understand what we have at Ohsweken. And maybe that's great. And both of these times, incidents, we're fairly new people. Right? Like, these weren't people that grew up at Ohsweken. The one team had been racing there a year and a bit. The other guys only came there maybe the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm expecting more from our visitors, and maybe we need to educate them a bit better about our safety team when they get there. But it's not like we hired Lazy Bob from behind the concession and said, hey, man, you want to throw this uniform on and put the extinguisher? We have real-life paramedics that take their off nights and come and race at Ohsweken and be on our team. And we have real fire people. So these are real professionals that do this. And you can call outside help, which we hope we never have to do, meaning ambulance and fire at a racetrack. But the same qualified people are already standing at the spot getting it done at Ohsweken Speedway. So I'm very proud of that. We say our guys are the best, and they're quick and they're fast, but they have their roles, and they're well rehearsed, and they're well choreographed. And this was something that we learned about Adam too since Saturday. Zigger and I did not know what the protocol plan was for towing at these crashes. So we are on the outside without the information, looking in and going, what the hell are they doing? Meanwhile, they have a plan. We weren't up to speed. So we are now up to speed. We've all adjusted a bit. But that's where, it turns out you don't want to be in the way. That's all I'm saying. So parents, crews, let me just finish the thought on by saying we've done this 30 years. You and I have seen the worst. A death at the speedway while we were working, okay? We've seen it. We witnessed it. We've experienced it. I'm a dad too. I got family who race. If for a moment we need you out there, I'm going to get you out there. I vow that to all the parents and families out there. If your kid needs your assistance, we are going to put you in. Once we have put out the fire, stabilized the situation, figured out where we are. And this is what I think I get so hot on. It doesn't take us 5 minutes to do that. We're talking a matter of 10 seconds. We can usually tell you yay or nay, or we need maybe another 10 seconds. But rarely does it go on more than 20 seconds that we don't have an answer, whether we need mom or whether they're usually jumping out. Even if it's adrenaline jumping them out, like Broden jumped out, his ankle's messed up, he's limping still. But at the moment, like you said, your body says, get out of that car, right? So whether you're ready or not, or we've had enough. So I don't know. It's just teams, work with me, because for the second week in a row, we're suspending guys and teams for going on the speedway. Just trust our people. That's kind of my rant for that. But man, it makes me get fired up, and then I feel bad the next day because I'm fighting. And then I tried to go down and talk to the crew, and hey, they just didn't want to hear it. So
no, and they may not. How do you think
that's their prerogative?
We've been weeks of watching you go off, and I just sit here. And I apologize for my popsicles, but I can't have a drink like Clint does, or I'll pee all night long.
No, I don't mean to monopolize the conversation. I just think it's
good.
Cool. We're in a unique role to have this, and I'm in a unique role that my bosses let me open up the doors to how it all works and what we all go
Mm-hmm.
through, and just some behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to monopolize everything about Rush Weekend, but it's what we know, it's what we live. We
Well,
are going to talk about
we've got some
APC
good
with Fargo
talking
coming up.
points tonight.
We do. I just want to get through. We can put a big O behind us here. Jordan Poirier will come back, and which will probably bring us back. 10K to win, 1K to start for the big O on Friday. Adam, this is an amazing thing. We found out that the other sprint car sanctioning bodies, the 360s, so the ESS in New York and Quebec, and the in the West, as I call it, the Great Lakes Super Sprints from Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, they're all off this weekend. So we have a kind of a big race going on, and it was just a regular event, regular night. It was going to pay 5K to win, which is doubling a bit more. We paid 2,000 on a regular Friday. It was going to pay 5,000 win, just a bit of a midsummer special, extra payout. I call Big Brian from Big Brian Palace from Junior's Bait and Tackle for Palace Racing. I said, "Hey Brian, you want to throw in $1,000 and help me pump up this person?" Now, I had planned to hit a few of them up, and Brian said, "I'll match it with 5K." How cool is that? So the race goes from 5K to 10K instantly. I had to phone him. I'm like, "Wait a minute, you're serious?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll bring $5,000 to the races on Friday." So our winner share goes to that, which is awesome. Then I post that in our groups because we have a Facebook group with crates and 360s. Nathan Ackland's in both groups. He says how much to get the crates now. They're paying 2,000 in, which is double their regular amount as well. That was already a plan. And then Nathan says how much to get them from 150 to 300 to start. So we're going to double their start, buddy. So we figured out that amount. Nathan's covering that. So now crates are to 2,000 to win, 300 to start for Friday. Then I saw Glenn at the race shop today, and he says, I posted on Facebook that it's going to be 1,000 to start now. And I said, what? Where? He tries to find it, can't find it. So I don't know, somewhere I posted it, but I'm serious. So I started, let me take a picture of you beside the race car. So we took a picture and posted that. So that's another 12,500 added to the purse right there. So this race, which was supposed to be a regular Friday, is now paying what the Nationals paid 3 years ago. 10,000 to win, 1,000 to start, 28 positions. How insane is that, Adam, that a regular Friday, we now have Nationals money? It's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild. It's wild. It's very cool. We're lucky to have what we have. We do need
sure.
We do need to show it. Remember that.
Okay, let me finish this off. So TSN, this is one of our TSN races. So it's awesome to have the big money on the line when TSN, Joel and the cameras are coming in to process this one. So we'll be live on GeForce, and we'll also show this one somewhere down the line in probably a month or so. It'll show up on TSN, crates and 360s, which is super awesome. And then the last thing I want to mention about Rush Weekend, super lucky. Mike Morris has done a fantastic job with us this year, and we have 300 plus of our partners coming out to experience the night at the races for a dinner with us on Friday. So it's going to be a big celebration of the business end of Rush Weekend Speedway. So race teams, polish up your stuff. It's going to be awesome to have all these things going on, right?
Yeah. No, it'll be a good night. I'm looking forward to it. I know you've enlisted Greg and I to come down and talk a little bit, put on our shtick.
Yeah, just show off a bit. I mean, we're lucky to have the partners we've got, so that's super awesome. Well, I'm monopolize the first 20 minutes. What do you want to talk about now? APC at Flamborough?
Yeah, we should.
NASCAR?
We should. Well, let's get to NASCAR because I think that can be a lengthy discussion. I'm flying out west Saturday to call the race at Edmonton. I haven't seen the entry list, but I'm a little concerned. But, you call what's there and make the best of it.
Well, look, we went last year, and we thought it was going to be a horrible race to call with 12 cars for 300 laps. Like, on paper, that is a disaster for an announcer. Mm-hmm. But, man, it ended up being a freaking great race. Like, I remember we left there that night going, wow, that was awesome. So it can be good.
It was a great race, and it was a even better crowd. Like the energy from the crowd was phenomenal. There was a few people who had something to say about the car count, but the people organizing the race are more concerned about the car count than anybody else. Like the right people are paying attention and realizing, yeah, this is a problem. Like this is bordering on too bad.
So I went to bed last night. For some reason, that was on my mind. We got a lot of friends in the series. We worked it a lot. I'm just thinking, how do you fix it, man? How do you fix it? That's actually, I think, at the bottom. There we go. How do you fix it? I don't know what the answer is, Adam. I think, well, let's back this up. You and I had a way better show on the phone today than we're having here right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
You and I talked for about 45 minutes today. After that, I just had the best Rivalz show ever, and nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it.
And you were driving.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. You drop the ovals. NASCAR Canada becomes a road racing series. Maybe you have to drop to 8 events. Maybe you can find 10 events. My problem is, and if you even look at the support classes, whether it was when we went to Newfoundland or when you go to Edmonton or when you go to Saskatoon, it's not like they have 40 cars in their late model division or their street stock division, people that might move their way up. That's how it used to be. You had a huge pool of people who wanted to move up to a more competitive level. And you don't have that now. The places we're going don't have a big base to begin with. There was a time when it was very clear CASCAR had their 2 Cayuga races, 2 Delaware races every year. That was enough to make people want to be a part of those shows. And everything else just worked. Like going to Barrie Speedway, which was a little bull ring. They always had enough cars to make that work, put on a good show, left you with a bit of a buzz. It used to be when we went out west, there were multiple Western competitors who would join the fray. This year there's Matt Shirley, and I believe he's only racing Saskatoon but not Edmonton. You have to, I'm not saying forever, but if you want to build from what they need to build from, they have a very successful program on the road courses. Don't lose that. If you have to focus on that, focus on that. Why are we not at Watkins Glen in August? Like that to me is a no-brainer. You've got the most entertaining road racing outside of Australian supercars in NASCAR Canada.
I'll give you that.
And I'm not saying that because I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm saying it over nearly 20 years of watching it and calling it and realizing, man, this is really good racing.
Well, it's got everything you want, right? It's got excitement. It's got damage. They tear up these cars. It's got last lap action, whether it's a wild pass or, I don't know how many years we were at CTMP and the race goes 51 laps and it's on lap 50 that I can hear you screaming as they're coming up, through the S's there, 8, 9, 10. It gets wild every time coming to the white. So I think it can be amazing, but man, ovals, road courses only, Adam, that's taken away the history of it all. And okay, let me get back to what you said about Watkins Glen. Like NASCAR Canada folks, they want it, right? And we know that's been why Daytona's got to give it. You got the racing, like you said. Canadians will flock down there to see it. Car count would be amazing. And I actually used that as part of today. I said I would be using as the carrot to get everybody else because everybody's going to want to race there as be part of the Cup week. If they ever get to Montreal, I've been talking for the last everybody's going to try and get there. I wouldn't let them go to those races. I would do like we do with the Nationals last weekend with the crates. You got to race 3 or 4 other races. You don't just come pick the cherry off the top. You got to help eat the bottom of that cake a little bit. So you got to show up to 3 or 4 of these other races before you can even attempt to show up at the big races.
Does that apply to the driver or the car number?
That's a good one. That's a good one that I'm not divesting yet.
Case in point, let's say Patrick Dempsey wants to race Watkins Glen. You going to turn down Patrick Dempsey? Grey's Anatomy?
It depends. I get that. So you have to weigh the potential of somebody like that maybe showing up versus in my plan, it's a cornerstone to getting cars back into the series at these other low-attended events. So you'd have to say no.
Look at the drivers who were oval racers, but who grew to love road racing. DJ Kennington, Donnie Thompson, Larry Jackson loves the road courses. What I'm saying is you have to focus on your strengths. And right now, ovals are not their strengths. Neither is the TV.
Aren't you pissing away your identity? Aren't you pissing away your identity?
What's your identity?
Your heritage, though?
Lackluster car counts?
I'm just saying, on the outside, if you said to someone who isn't invested, and I mean, we felt the same thing with the Outlaws, okay? So you have casual race fans, and it's the Outlaws versus the high limit argument. You know, everybody knows who the Outlaws are, right? But not everybody knows who high limit is. If you've been a fan of any kind of motorsport, you've heard of Outlaws. You may not have heard of that. The point of this is, Adam, anybody who maybe is of that ilk on the pavement side, if you ask them what NASCAR Canada is, they're going to say Donnie Thompson's, DJ Kennington, Larry Jackson's from a couple years ago. Even though we know the identity is much more Marc-Antoine Cameron, Andrew Ranger, and the road course side of things now.
And those drivers are pretty good on the ovals because they're good racers, just like our good oval racers became good road course racers because they're good racers. But the point is, you have to have a quality product. You have to have a product that shows you're the best. And right now, and I'm one of the biggest flag wavers and always have been, the oval program is not one of the best. And we can't even get it on the TV network right before or right after the NASCAR Cup races like they used to be. Like you can't turn a blind eye to what's happening and the reality of the number of eyeballs you're putting on your series. Even though we're supportive of everybody involved. I wish nothing but success. If you heard me complain about getting fired from the TV deal, I don't think either of us have.
No.
Because we're still here. We still get to do what we love. Obviously, certain things changed. But
you just told everybody we got fired, bro.
It happens. I'm not saying it because we got fired. I'm saying it because there's not enough eyeballs watching the product. What the hell do I care if I got fired? Someone else is doing a job I used to do, but not many people are watching. And I haven't seen the numbers from Rev TV, so I'm making a bit of a guess. But I don't think the numbers are as high as what TSN was, and I don't think we have seen the new look or the exciting buzz that was promised of providing live races. We're 1 out of 2.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's undeniable that the numbers aren't going to be as good as leading into the Cup race, the Xfinity race the following Saturday. You know, those numbers are good. The attempt was to go live. I mean, they've had some schedule challenges as well, but man, yeah, I don't look at us like we got fired. It'd be like if the APC network went with a different broadcast partner and their announcers got the deal. That's basically the way, we look at it.
Yeah. But
at least I do. I know you were the TV guy for 10 years.
Something needed to get better. If you're going to make that change, you don't make it to save money. You don't make it to be more efficient. You make it so the product is better. So the teams get more out of it. So the fans get more out of it. We're not there yet. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm saying it hasn't happened. And it needs to. If you're going to make these changes, they have to progress. Don't make these changes to take a step backwards.
No, I think you're right on par there. I'm still frustrated. Their website's terrible, and I guess bigger than NASCAR. Just frustrates me in general when I'm a fan and I know the path and I still can't get the info. You're not helping yourself.
Let's expand on Rob's comment.
NASCAR Canada needs to be like the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. Explain that.
Rob, you make a good point, but my point to you is, what is the Maritime Pro Stock Series? I know what it is. It's a series of oval track race cars that goes to most of the speedways in the Maritimes, and it is the best of the best competing against the best of the best in that region.
So it's Maritime APC then, right?
Yeah. And I think that is fair. Well, I think that's where APC.
The description you just gave was the best of the best in that region, going head to head, going to almost every speedway in that Maritimes.
And some of those drivers have sometimes aspired to race with NASCAR Canada when
that's
NASCAR
the key word right
there. Used to travel well. Right? Like this, you're absolutely right. But what makes it, there's nothing about that series or those cars that is special, standout special. It's just a product, just like Oswego Speedway. Put a body camera on any of the things. They're just the biggest and the best, and it is unquestionable. And right now, people are questioning where NASCAR Canada is at with its program. And it's not because of NASCAR, and it's not because of Canada. Like it's because a number of things have changed the landscape. And you got things like, we complained about people building new series. It happened out west when the Siebert started that RS1 or Avion Motorsports. A number of the people who would have spent money to go and race NASCAR Canada when it came west decided to spend their money with that series instead. Jason White was well, Jason kind of dabbled. He does some big things down in the States. But every time something like that happens that chips away at the pie, it makes the pie smaller. We need a bigger pie. And man, like I said, Clint, I love it. I get to go to a bunch of these races. I love road racing because of what the series has produced, because the sizzle is still there.
What's a motor cost in the NASCAR Canada series these days? Any idea what one of those RYR motors costs?
I'd be lying if I said I knew.
Lowball it.
It's got to be $50,000.
That's what I'm thinking.
Would think. I'll ask this weekend.
So the first thing they got to do is get these cars in line. They're not $200,000. You said to me today, an Xfinity car probably costs the same as a NASCAR Canada car, which is ridiculous. So I said put 604, 602 crates in them. There's $50,000 off your bill instantly, right there. And would we know? No, they'd be doing the same damn lap times they are right now. It's the same thing as these sprint car guys. They buy these massive motors and then they put in these urethane inserts to choke them down. It's ridiculous because they're detuning them. Let's bring on a guy who might know a bit about detuning.
Yep. I think it's a good conversation that it's a good conversation that we've had though. Not destructive, not tearing things down, just having expectations of the people who come in and make changes to say they're going to be better. I'm going to be standing there saying, you make sure this is better. This is what you promised. This is why I don't get to work anymore. This series.
I was just thinking, did you buy the seat beside you on the plane too? Because Yeah, you had some pretty big balls in here today, knowing you're gonna have to fly out west with all these people on
No,
Saturday.
Clint, I don't say anything to you, and I think you can probably back me up on this. I don't say anything to you on the phone that I wouldn't say into this camera and microphone.
Yeah, you're an ass all the way around. Let's
Well,
bring Jordan in. Go ahead, finish your
shut
topic,
that
Jordan.
down.
You can't offend Jordan. Say it.
Yeah, Jordan can come in and listen. I pride myself in that. And Clinton, I own my mistakes when I make them because I make a lot of mistakes and I eat my shit when I have to eat it. But I'm not going to stop saying what's on my mind. And it comes from a place of I want things to be good and better and fun, and that's what we do. And that's why Jordan travels 1,000 miles 5 times a year to come and race with us because we're fun.
Yeah, to add to your conversation, I think you both want the best for the racing. I think it comes from a good place in the art, the conversation you got right now, because you want it to be better for the sports. It's better for if the tops grow, it just raise the whole tide with it, I think.
I love that Jordan learned to speak English just so we can talk to jackasses like us here on these shows.
Well,
Because in his
usually it's
life,
in
he told
victory
us
lane.
recently. Yeah, but he told us last time we talked to him that he only has to talk English when he talks to us. Everybody else in his life is French. So you're doing really good, Jordan. Let's talk about Speed Weeks. That's the cool thing the ESS has put on for the past, I don't know, 5 or 10 years now. The 4th of July week, all the tracks in New York to get together, put in, I think it was 5 nights and 5 races in 7 days or something. How tough is that on you, Jordan? And how long does it take you to recuperate from a string of races like that?
It's five nights and 5 days, so it's pretty grueling week for all probably a lot of local team. Nobody's get hired to work on race cars, so we all take time off to go racing. It's grueling. It's a tough week. Usually, you always get a rain out or two in the week, so you try to get back together. But this year we had great weather. It was hot outside, so I've been fortunate enough to get Tranco family and Mushi Motorsport to let us use his shop. They got AC, so it helped a little bit. But it's a tough week because all week long, we were like, yeah, are we going to a weekend on Friday or are we not? After Sunday, I was like, yeah, we won't go. And then all that money came to pop up on Monday and today, and we're like, I text Matt like at 5 o'clock today, and are we going? He said, yeah, let's go. Came to the shop and get our car ready because otherwise we will have just taken a day or two to get back together. But yeah, sounds like we're going racing this weekend.
Awesome.
Jordan, outside of, a couple of days beforehand and kind of rubbing your hands together thinking, could this be the night that I break through at Ohsweken? When you actually get to the racetrack, does it feel any different on a night like this?
I try not to put too much pressure. I consider maybe Summer National under like Northern Canadian National, but when you get to the real national, like you want to do good. When I go there, it comes with a lot of expectations. See, won it 3 times, so I feel like everybody was waiting for me to do good there. So there's a little bit more pressure for me to go there and be good. But I try to make the simplest. If you complicate too much, you just won't be good. But yeah, I want to win this weekend. I won't lie. That's why we come more often than not this year. So we were close with the ESS this time. I really think we had something for Nikki, but just came short. So we'll have to come back again.
Jordan, from the outside, is Ohsweken different every time you come? Because I hear from our guys tell me it's different from week to week and drastically different. Is Ohsweken like? I guess what I'm asking is, from the outside, does it seem the same place to you every week, or is it every time you come, does it seem different, the track surface?
It's always different. I try to watch the stream pretty much every week, so just trying to get the feel of what the racetrack will look like. On a weekly basis, it looks way more top dominant. So I don't know why. Probably just a little bit more water into the track, or maybe just a little bit more track work. But it's always more like in a weekly show. It looks like top dominant, a little cushion, maybe 3/4 of the way of the racetrack. And as soon as you get like summer national or Canadian national, it just dry slick. So we talk about, because Nikki was staying at the shop with Trenko this week also. So we talk a little bit about it, and I just think there's the track work are just so good that they know what kind of racetrack to give, just on how much track work they need to do to give some type of different feel. So yeah, I think every week's different. So hopefully it's just like a summer national of classic dry stick from bottom to top, and we can maneuver a lot.
I think that's what you're going to get.
Is that the team orders, Clint?
No, I just think, like Jordan said, if it stays hot this week, that many cars, someone asked me car count based on crates are up. They're racing for double. You guys are racing for 5 times what you normally race for on a Friday. 1,000 to win. I don't know. Do you have a prediction on car counts? I'll tell you where I'm at. We got 25-ish 360s weekly. I don't see why we don't have another 10 toe in with ESS and GLSS all off as a shot to get better for the Nationals. And then from the crate side, I mean, we're at 35 regular. I could see us getting to 40 crates this week. So I just think a lot of track pressure on it on the Friday is going to buff it off nice. Anyways, Jordan, what do you think about car counts?
I think it won't be a mistake to say 40. I think that today changed everything. With you give 1,000 to start, it changed the landscape for everybody. It does change the landscape for us. So I bet there's plenty of people that just said the same things, because the 10 grand up top is always nice, but there's only one person that gets it. But the $1,000, it pays the fuel in the motorhome, in the pickup truck, or everything. So I think that will make the difference to get more people. And it's weekend super nice. There's nothing running near Rush Weekend on Friday, so I don't see why we cannot get 40 car for that race.
Do the crowd still show up like crazy when you guys go to Brewerton and Fulton? Those tracks used to just erupt when the sprint cars showed up. They still fill in the place?
Yeah, Brewerton is crazy. I don't know why Brewerton fans are just awesome. Fulton got more difficulty, I think, a little bit, but maybe just the grandstand are a little bit bigger. But Brewerton, it's always a fun night to go there.
Yeah, it's a special lot. There's something about those cars on that racetrack. I like just about everything on Brewerton. But,
I gotta say, I felt like this week it felt bigger for Speed Week. I don't know why. I just felt like there was more people. I think Rush Weekend having off, it showed a little more Canadian fan that came up, more Canadian driver to also. So I don't know why Speed Week had a little bit more this week. More different people that we were not used to run on those kind of racetrack also.
Oh, that's good.
Jordan, one thing we've been talking about here is the pavement in Ontario and how they don't seem to work together. And Adam, this is an example of it. We work with John Tiff and the guys of the ESS. We know this is their speed week. So that's a good Friday for us to give the 360s the night off. We try and support that. And we saw that with Ashton Van Every, Stiers, Turner was down there, Sheridan, DJ Christie went to a race or two, I think. So it's great that we can work together and support them. That's really what spurred this week, Jordan, is the cooperation. They said, we're going to take the 11th off to help you guys build your NASCAR race or your summer nationals. When we figured we had all these open sprint car guys, we figured we better do something big. So I originally put it $5,000. Figured, all right, we'll have a kind of a big race. And then I made a call, and Big Brian Palace jumped up to 10, and then Glenn threw another 12 at it today. So, Adam, I could see this. Jordan, you've been with us too. I could see this getting bigger Friday, and we don't need it to get any bigger. I know it'd be cool, but a lot of the money guys still haven't even got the news that it's money week to start throwing it around yet. So you never know, it could still come out of the woodwork.
Usually around like 3:00 on the Big Shack, we'll get like $5,000, $5,000, just like national.
I'm not going to make Jordan. How cool is it that the Nationals 3 years ago was 1,000 to win, or 1,000 to start, 10,000 to win, and we now have that on a regular Friday. It's insane to me.
It's crazy. It just raised the whole sport. I think it just helped the 360. I think 360 are somewhat in a weird place in between, like the 410 and the 305 growing up in the US a little bit, the crates. So I think it just helped people continue to race with it. So I think it showed us weekend guys got really better. They start traveling a little bit more than they did in the last 10 years, I think. So I think it's just great for the sport. It's just great for everybody. You'll have plenty of guys coming from Ohio, New York, Ontario, Quebec. So it's good for everybody. I don't see why paying race and I to start money. I think it's great for everyone. And
you make a great point, Jordan, because in the U.S., outside of New York, 360 racing is second tier racing.
Exactly.
Because 410s are where it's at. The Knoxville Nationals are 410. The Big Eldora in Canada. You weren't listening to the start of the show, but we were talking about the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. They have the right buzz. Well, in Ontario and Quebec, 360 sprint car racing is it. That's the buzz because that's where the competitors are. So you are the main attraction. So it's great that you get that kind of payout. And nobody, if you brought someone in to watch the race and just told them they were coming to a dirt sprint race, even if they were a veteran asphalt fan, they wouldn't know they were watching 360s or 410s. They wouldn't know the difference.
They're still impressive race car. Right? They go quite probably as fast as the 410s sometimes some nights. So I don't see why, because you don't put the word 410. Sometimes it makes a difference for people just because they think the 410 is like that big giant thing. But those 360 are near the 750 plus horsepower. So I don't see why you're not impressed by that kind of machinery.
Jordan, right when you came on, I was just alluding to you guys. These guys have 410 motors, but they're choking them down for places like Ohsweken with those inserts, anyways. So, many nights they can be damn near on par by the time they detune a 410 to get it to hook up. Anyways, let's talk about one last thing I got for you, Jordan, before we let you go. Last time you came up with the SS, we got the in-car camera in your car, and there was lots of good response. You sent me messages. Tell us a bit about some of the messages you got and everybody watching G-Force and how that worked out with the in-car and stuff, because I know that was a cool story.
Oh, yeah. That was cool. I didn't know how much they shown into the feed during the night. So I asked Joel when I got the race car, did I give you great content? I didn't know, like, could you see? Did it transfer good? And then I opened up my phone and like my mom, my dad blew my phone away. They were like, that was cool. We listened almost all race long in your in-car. Couple of buddies that listened to the races and were like, that was the coolest thing ever. So no, I think it was a great addition. I'll watch it back after that. It was just gave a great feel because it was a great battle with Nikki. I think it was just a melting pot that everything was going the right way. But yeah, Joel did some magic right there, and it just add to the professionalism of everything. You show that to the sponsor and everything. It's a quality feed. It's almost TV feed anywhere in the country. So yeah, no, it was great. It was the best thing. Hopefully it continue. Hopefully Joel pick me up again this week.
Only if you guarantee a win. You have to promise.
I'll try my best. That's the best I can do.
Losers try.
So, Jordan, just to clarify for the fans, all you won everything, Knights of Thunder champion. You have never won an Ohsweken Speedway feature race, correct?
No, it was my first podium this year. So after I talked to you guys, it was podium. So now we talk again. I better get that win.
Perfect.
You know where to find me after the race. Now you can come talk to me for the right spot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jordan. We appreciate your time. Good luck, safe travels, and I know lots of fans in here in Ontario be happy to come up and see you. Always a gentleman. You got any stuff for sale? You got any shirts for sale? Anything like that?
Yeah, I got a shirt and diecast with me. So just come by to the Holler and we'll get you hooked up.
Very
diecast.
Cool.
How much are they going for?
Yeah, $40. They're cheap.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. I bet you're going to sell a couple. Tell them you saw it
here. Friday.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, guys. See you Friday.
Damn. Great ambassador for the sport. I love the guys who are bilingual. Guys like him, LP Dumoulin, just series dream. Where are we going to go? We got a few Burger Barn videos to look at.
Can you edit that clip, Spencer?
Why? What did I say now?
I'm glad that you love to buy guys. It's 2025. It's that month. I think that matters. We're an inclusive society.
Hey, Dad always told me there's two kinds of people, good and bad. That's all that matters.
You got it.
Speaking of Dad, he comes in here at 8:05 yesterday, looks at me, goes, "No show." I start scrambling. It's Monday. You get me all worked up. What are you doing? Go back to your bedroom. All right. Whew. Before we get any further, APC on Saturday. Flamborough. They got all the divisions on dock, right? Super stock race, Oscar modified, Oscar hot rods, APC late models. No Adam Ross. It's the perfect night to come out to Flamborough.
All right.
We'll have a good time.
Have you got anyone coming?
You.
Or are you going to go with Kevin and Jamie? What are you laughing at?
I'll tell you later. Wow. Tied into.
I have never seen you break focus because we both look at our phones the entire hour, and God only knows the ridiculous stuff.
I'm laughing at what you just said, and then forget it. We'll talk about it later. Inside stuff that's not for the air. All right, because if I say it publicly, then it'll never die. Okay, Burger Barn video of the week. Let's look at some videos. Oh, okay. A couple pictures first. Oh, yeah. Cam Harris was watching this for the past couple weeks. Shows how much we pay attention. Cool. 20,000 subscribers, Adam. That's pretty awesome. That's a big number. And that means people get that notification every time we come on the air, which is awesome.
For the locals that we are, Clinton, and we really do it's a pretty hyper focus that we run with. That's a fantastic number. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, to have that many people that hang out, and I go to Merrittville when I'm off, when I can, and I know you go to different places. You always get someone talking an inside story. Like I think on Saturday, one guy come up to me and say, "Hey, did Adam stay awake this weekend?" And then I had James Little come out to me and he said, "Oh, I was for sure your rant was going to be last week about Flamborough saying if we get 12 cars, we'll pay $2K." He said, "Damn it, your rant should have been just pay the damn $2K, gamble on it, and get the freaking cars out there." So it was just cool that people pay attention to what we have to say.
And it's awesome that they have opinions. Like, not just that they listen, but that they come up and say, "I don't like the things you say on your show." Awesome. As long as you keep watching, just to disagree. Speaking of which, you know this, Clinton, because you were there. I talked to Cliff Warner for the first time, and wow, it was over 20 years on Friday night. He carries a grudge a long time, and it was over like $100.
You owed him $100, or you're fighting over $100?
No, it was a disagreement over a call that was made, or like it was minuscule. Like, it really amounted to nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it was enough that man would see me and just look the other way.
There's certain things about our announcing careers that I'll always like remind me of you, or certain things when I think of you that remind me of certain situations. And one was when you were the roles were reversed. I was in the tower. You were on the run with the microphone. Before we ever had cameras, we were just audio. And I think you were commentating about a fight in the Sportsman pits. And you said, "Oh, here comes Cliff Warner." Not the first time he walked knuckles first into a pit stall, and I was dying laughing. I don't know, for some reason that line always stuck with me. I always thought that was great. And then you saw Cliff there, so it was good. You guys could mend fences and put old times behind us.
It was good to see.
We're going somewhere else. Go ahead, Spencer. What other picks we got? Show what Adam did on the weekend. Adam got to drive Ferraris at Mont Tremblant, and Adam, look at did you leave a grease spot on the headliner there?
There is not a lot of room in those cars. I will tell you that.
And they let you drive them in the rain on a racetrack?
Yep. So do you know what they do? It's actually quite cool. So there's a race car driver. If you look up at the front of that picture, there's a Maserati SUV. And it's got a race car driver, a former race car driver, someone who works for Ferrari. So they go out on the track. You've got to stay within 2 to 3 car lengths of them, which is pretty close when you're up to speed. And there's 3 cars behind them. All of the cars have to stay that 2-3 car lengths apart, and the pace car will keep going faster and faster and faster until you're up to a racing speed. So
that's cool.
If you got out there with a group that had a few assertive drivers, they'd get up on the wheel. And I just got sent a bunch of videos because I had a passenger for some of it. But it was a great experience. Just put on by Holland Leasing. I really appreciate them inviting me out for that. And got to chat.
I appreciate you inviting me. I didn't go, but I appreciate you asking me to come. I'm just afraid to drive all the way there and get car sick, man. Okay. What else, Spence? This is an example of why we don't want parents on the track. So this is a multi-car accident. Look at all the people out there, Adam, trying to get involved and help people out. The ambulance there trying to do its job. It's just craziness.
Yep. And imagine if a fire broke out.
Yeah. Or a fuel cell explodes. Like, what are we doing?
I'm watching the bottom of the screen. Like, it's almost like 2 different images because there's a couple of people walking around. Like, that was bizarre.
I don't know. Wild scene, but that's why we don't want people out there. It can easily turn to that if we allow it. Keep coming, Spence.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, this is just a great race, Adam. This is why dirt racing is good. Off into the moat, back into the side. Do we got audio for this, Spencer?
Man, oh man, Ashton Winger. They don't call him Air Force for nothing. Are you kidding me? Back to the high side.
Just a great race.
Look to the inside.
Yep.
Winger's going to go to the inside of McCarter. They'll swap the lead in turns 3 and 4 again. McCarter to the inside, Winger to the outside. They'll slam doors. Off the track goes Ashton Winger again. Corey Hedgecock now making it a 3-car race. And here comes Sam Seawright. 4 cars under a blanket for the top spot. Now Winger will slide over the nose of McCarter. Wow. Ashton Winger takes the lead. 15 laps to go. Back and forth.
Still going at it.
Back into Winger again. Winger's over.
Oh! I didn't see that. I didn't see that when I sent it in.
Red flag out on the racetrack.
Damn.
I didn't see that. I didn't watch that. I watched the first 2 laps. I'm sending that to the dump account. That was awesome.
I don't like it when someone repays a slide job with a hack job.
Yeah, and that place just looks wild, man. You jumping off that backstretch cliff. Can you imagine sprint cars there? They'd be like motocross jumping back into the track. All right, what else we got? That was awesome. Oof. Got me going there. Oh. Okay. This is showing how they're processing fuel. Show that again, Spencer. So right from the beginning, this is how, stop right there. Can you get it on that? Okay, even right there. That's how teams are offloading 55 gallons of methanol and gasoline. Adam, and it's common practice, and it's the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. Isn't that dumb? Like, I know it cushions it, but what happens if it punctures? Every time I see that, it makes me cringe. Roll it from the start one more time, Spencer, all the way through.
If it's absolutely full, you're not in too much trouble. It's if it was partially empty,
Ugh.
you could have a pretty big issue.
Yeah, just the whole thing. Just when I saw that, I'm like, I've seen that at the Speedway, done more than I'd care to say, and it's every time I see, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
Take it down into turn number 1 and 2, 2 and 3. Wow, one wide in the wall. Logan Walls out of the field.
Did you see this, Adam?
No.
This is from the not so dramatic angle. This is at Sequoia, Georgia. I believe this is Bubba Pollard's track that the family owns.
I think you're right.
Got into the pits, hit the pole. Yeah. Did I say Sequoia? Sonoya. Yeah, Sonoya, yeah. Georgia. Do you have the other angle of that, Spencer? Oh man, I don't think we do. But it hit two people who were standing in the pits. And Fran, go ahead, give your stand back. It hit. So there was someone standing by that pole that got clipped, and another person got clipped. Now they were all okay in reports afterwards. But man, keep your eyes open if you were at the races. No matter where you're standing, at all times.
And don't stand in dumb places.
I'm guilty of that. We'll try. What else, Spencer? One more to go.
I think the car just called the cops.
Oh, it's on the phone with OnStar. Hello? No, everything is not okay. My brother, he hit the wall. Good news is we're at Stafford Motor Speedway doing a burnout contest, so we don't need any help, but I wouldn't say everything's okay with this car.
Is that Cletus?
No, we don't need emergency assistance. Thanks, brother. Do it for Dale. Okay.
I don't know, maybe.
Let's push this baby off.
Sure sounds like him.
It sounds like him, right?
That was awesome. So they take that's got to happen more and more in these King of the Hill races. You know, car gets in an accident. Hi, OnStar. Have you been in a collision? Are you okay? Well, not really. Yeah, maybe. We think we're okay. Another good hour, bud. See, we can bullshit for an hour with very little friends.
Okay,
to answer Anthony Rotono, 28 cars start both sprint classes on Friday.
Should be a good night of racing.
Yeah, I think we're done here. Spencer, anything you want to add? Adam, anything you want to add? When you fly out, you're gone for like half a week, aren't you?
Yeah, Saturday morning, and they're going to stay out west until Wednesday for Saskatoon. I used to fly back and forth to save days off, but I'm tired.
You don't save any days. It just wears you out. I think we did that a couple years ago. Flew out, flew back, flew out. Man, it's crazy.
Too many trips to
All right,
the
we
airport.
will see you. Hey, I got to send a final shout out. Jack's 18th birthday tomorrow. My camera kid, my best bud, my wingman. It's all grown up now. 18. So if you see Jack out in the travels this weekend, wish him a happy birthday. He's 18 tomorrow. Jack and Mac will be live Thursday for micro sprints here on G-Force. We'll be live at 7:30 Friday for the Summer Sprint Showdown. All that cash on the line for the 2 sprint classes plus Mini Sox and Thunders. Gale Hills race is next week, everybody, on the 18th, for those that asked. What else were we going to say? Oh, Saturday, we are live at 6:30 for the Superstock qualifying from Flamborough Speedway on Racing America. That race will also show up on Rev TV the following Wednesday. And the following Sunday, you can watch it right here on G-Force. In fact, Spencer, you'll like this. Jack came running in my office Sunday about 6 o'clock, goes, Dad, somebody's pirating the APC race. It's on YouTube. And I'm like, no, Spencer airs it a week later, but everyone's on the watch for that. And don't forget, one final broadcast note, tomorrow night, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Rev TV nationally, you can check out Full Force. It's either the APC race from the week before, and if there isn't one, it's the Osh Weekend stuff. So this week it'll be Osh Weekend from Friday night on Rev TV tomorrow at 9 p.m. That's all we got, Adam. What's that? That's Friday, June 13th will be on Rev tomorrow. Programming note, not Friday's race. Adam, travel safe. We'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
See you Friday.